Welcome back once again to the Do Whatever podcast. So, coming to you from the new home studio, but we're not doing live video just yet. I did jump on Facebook for a live video last time while recording, tested everything out. We're still ironing out the kinks of how to do live video on these. Not really in a hurry. I mean, after all, it's a podcast. You listen to it primarily, but hey, it's fun to turn the video on, especially when I got people in the studio here. Like I had Chef Luke a couple of weeks ago. We got some plans to get more people. It's going to be a little more fun to have some live videos so you can make fun of our dumb faces while we're recording. But I figured I would turn on the mic, get another podcast in. So much is happening. Got so many things running through my brain. So just wanted to get into those. Turn on the mic. Let's do it. Let's get you something to listen to, right? So before we start, this episode is sponsored by Throwbros. Throwbros.com is the only online store for Highland Games athletes. Gear up, get throwing. That is exactly all the stuff you need to get ready for a Highland Games season out there. It's the gear. It's tacky for hammer throwing. It's blades for the boots also for hammer throwing. It's tape. It's chalk. It's apparel. Wrist wraps coming soon. All that kind of good stuff. There are, as of yesterday, I guess that'll be many days before, I don't know when this drops, but there are new straw hats called the Shade Thrower Straw Hat. That is a hat for people that spend a lot of time outside all day, possibly throwing things. Throwing athletes, track and field, Highland Games athletes. Y'all are spending a ton of time out there, and nobody remembers to put on sunscreen, so just wear a giant straw hat with our logo on it. So check those out at throwbros.com. Throwbros will also be at the Arnold Sports Festival, February 28th through March 2nd. So there's a big Highland Games event, for those who don't know. It's pretty much the highest profile event that we have in the Highland Games, that or Celtic Classic later in the year in the fall. But the Arnold Sports Festival has an indoor Highland Games where they have the pros, they invite the best in the world, and then they also have an amateur class, they have a masters over 40 class, and they have a women's class. So they run the gamut. They got a lot of athletes out there, and Throwbros will be out there in support. We'll be at the throwing area, and we'll have a table where we're peddling our wares. Lots of new stuff coming for the Arnold also. Lots of stuff that is going to be pretty exciting to share. It is new apparel, new gear, all that kind of good stuff, and it'll be there at the table and available online as well. So if you go to throwbros.com, use code DOWHATEVER, all one word, that'll save you 15%. Go check it out. So in terms of throwing Highland Games, the biggest thing that happened in the past couple of weeks is that Throwbros, of which I am an owner, I feel like I have to put that out there. Like, I don't know, somehow I have to legally cover my bases. There's no legality involved in this whatsoever, but it feels really official to say legally. But I had a seminar. We ran a Highland Games seminar, a free seminar sponsored by Throwbros with Spencer Tyler. If you listen to this, you know who Spencer Tyler is. He's a buddy of mine. It's in here once in a while. I've got to get him on the podcast again soon. That dude's a fun listen. But Spencer is a Highland Games professional athlete, holds multiple world records in the Highland Games. Got to be on his way to a world championship this year. Didn't work out that he could compete there last year, but if he makes it this year, you never want to say a lock because there's a lot of good athletes up there, but Spencer is having a heck of a couple of seasons here. So it'll be fun to see him get to world championship, see what he can do. But yeah, we had there's a kind of a consensus that skill-wise, he's the best in the world. I've joked with him before that because he doesn't have that world title, he's the Dan Marino of Highland Games. He's got all the records. He's just got to get that ring. He's got to get that trophy. He'll do it though. So we had that free seminar. And that's the first in a series that Throwbros is going to do. We're going to try to make this a regular thing around the country, doing these free seminars for people that are either just getting into the Highland Games or people that are, well established or even in the pro ranks and just want to, get a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more practice, some new tricks, some new tools to put in the toolbox to get their game better. So I couldn't think of a better way to kick this thing off than doing it with Spencer and I. Spencer and I have been friends for 6-7 years now, and we've trained together. He taught me a lot about throwing. He's a big influence of mine, and I think we both kind of motivate each other in lots of different ways. So it was really cool to just get in front of people, talk to him. We talked for a couple of hours. We did a seminar lecture portion, kind of talked about everything to do with the games. We talked about how we got into the Highland Games, had other people share their stories, talked about how different the backgrounds that the athletes that come to this sport are. It's not all track and field all the time, although that at the highest level that's prevalent. But we talked about how to program a season, block periodization, all that kind of technical stuff. Talked about how to break down a practice, how Spencer breaks down his practices and what things he does that are unique. We even talked about diet, like games day nutrition, all kinds of stuff. And then we opened up for a Q&A. But the coolest part was that we got out on the field. Spencer got out on the field with all the people at the seminar. And then it's, as many people as there were, we managed to spend one-on-one time with everybody, just working on some basics. We went through basically every event. We worked on, it's tempting to want to, when you get a hold of somebody who's the best at something, that you want to, like, what are their secrets? What are the little things they're doing? Or what are the adjustments that they're doing that are different than everybody else? But really, it's when you get a chance, watch how those people teach the fundamentals. Spencer's a fantastic coach. I fancy myself a coach as well, obviously, but I think Spencer is great at what he does. He coaches unlike anybody else in the world, which is great. He has his own approach to it. It involves a lot of cursing. So he really emphasizes the basics with people. The one turn on the weight for distance, and where your feet are, and how your weight's distributed. Your grip on the implement, all the things that you kind of take for granted, especially when you've been doing this for a while. You think like, I got that down, that little bitty part. I know where my foot goes. Re-examine those things when you have the best in the world watching you do it. I think that really helps a lot. So that was a ton of fun. We do have plans to do more of those seminars. We've got one that we're trying to confirm a date on the East Coast for springtime. So stay tuned for that. And then I want to do one on the West Coast, probably hopefully in the summertime. So if you are a West Coast Highland Games athlete, hit me up. Let me know what dates are looking good, what games you guys are all trying to peak for, and we'll maybe try to get a West Coast Throw Bros free seminar going out there. So yeah, that's all the stuff going on. There's lots of stuff going on with the Throw Bros and Highland Games right now. It's all over Instagram at Throw Bros. You can definitely check out the things there. Speaking of Instagram, so the biggest thing happened on mine, that's been happening on mine for the past couple of weeks, is that I ran a caption contest for a completely ridiculous picture of myself. I mean, that's what Instagram is for, is pictures of yourself looking ridiculous. So if you haven't seen, I posted a picture, gosh, what day was that on? It was a while back. It was like early January at this point. I posted a picture. I was fully dressed, which, as a basically unemployed entrepreneur, stay-at-home dad, me being fully dressed as an event. So I got to show it off, right? Got to do it to them. So I posed my fit for the day, as they call it, like the outfit. Yeah, there you go. Outfit of the day. I had the black slim cut jeans on. I had a thermal. I had a flannel on top. I had a Hate Brand Goods hat. Had my new Nikes and everything. Just looking fly. I'm not gonna lie to you. And but I posed in front of my trash cans at the bottom of my suburban driveway, and I did a little pose, like the thoughtful entrepreneur's pose, which is kind of like one hand nested in the other, like in front of your chest or in front of your upper abs, I guess, and then like sort of looking distantly. We call this the Nick Bear pose. For those who aren't aware, my buddy Nick Bear is the owner and founder of Bear Performance Nutrition, who they make a ton of great products. Check those guys out. But he's a young entrepreneur, a YouTubist, and he has mastered that pose. I like to think that he didn't invent the thoughtful entrepreneur pose, but he mastered it. Nobody clasps their fist inside an open hand and looks thoughtfully into the distance better than Nick Bear. Also, having abs and biceps also helps a lot with that pose, but I don't have those options, so I got to work with what I got. So I put trash cans in the picture. So in front of my trash cans and recycling, there is a picture of me with the had to do it to him pose, the Nick Bear pose. So I ran a caption contest. I said, anyone who can caption this photo with the best possible hustle and grind style inspirational caption will win a very special prize. And I actually, at the time, I didn't know what the prize was going to be. I just said very special prize. I promise there'll be one, but I do have an idea of what it is now. So I'll share that. But let's go through some of the greatest hits here. I just banged a picture on the back of my wall with my elbow. Man. So we got to start off with the man himself. Nick Bear commented, as a young man, I hustled my way out of the male stripping industry so I wouldn't have to grind on those damn poles anymore. Yeah, I mean, that's not an issue I've ever had. Nobody's ever asked me to strip for them, but I'm sure, if you're one of you younger, attractive fellas, that comes up a lot. Let's see. Tenderman 105 says, not only do I recycle my kids' toy trash, I clip my grass and my sickest pair of Nikes while I stay stylish with a sweet flannel from TJ Maxx. So I'm ready for an impromptu lunch date with my wife in case she calls. I also check my SoundCloud soon because I'm about to drop the sickest dad rap of all time. That, I wish that were true. I wish that I had flow so I could drop a dad rap. But the thing is, it would turn into like I don't know, it'd be like a Funny or Die type video, and then it would be horrible. But if you could do a dad rap straight-faced, that's something I'd be into. Let's see. This one was a good one. B. Nadich. I know this dude, Brian Nadich. He says, they always said I would never make it past the Devil's Strip. Look at me now. So I did not know what the Devil's Strip was. I had to look this up when he made this, because like that's, all right, is that like a pubic hair style? Like I did not know. And so I found out that apparently that's a New Jersey thing or a Northeast thing, is that the land that's between your sidewalk and the curb, if you live in the burbs, you have like the strip of grass. And that's like the Devil's Strip, because it's like in a lot of places that's no man's land. Like you don't really own it. The city doesn't really take care of it. Like you don't own it, but the city's not coming and mowing it or caring for it. But you're still like, I have sprinklers in mine. So apparently that's a thing. So I did. I made it past the Devil's Strip. Actually, I'm standing smack dab in the middle of the Devil's Strip. So maybe I've still got more hustling and grinding to do. So that was a pretty cool one. What else? Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Mason says, Mason lifts. Mason _ lifts. This is where I got my start, pulling bottles and cans for pennies, fighting off the bums and Hispanic women to claim my turf. I earned their respect and started a fleet called the Daybreak Divers. Every bin picked clean in a 3-city radius, cashed out daily. Everything after that was a side hustle. Never forget the streets you started on. #blessed. #rise and grind. #beach bottle pickers. Sweet. Let's see. Mr. McKenzie says, are you the asshole keeps putting recyclables in the garbage? I'm here to collect your fine. I guess that's somehow a reference to the fact that I'm trying to look tough. I never try to look tough. Just FYI. That is a worthless endeavor. This one I like. A Wild Andrew appears. Just to think, a few short years ago, I used to be in a full body cast, hustling illegal truffles behind a 7-Eleven. Now I have one of the most profitable raccoon jerky companies on the East Coast. #started from the bottom. #blessed. I like that one a lot, man. Let's see. Lane's a lot. Lance, man, he put a ton of them in here. Here's a pic of me standing next to your work ethic. Oh, that's fire right there. Let's see, any other killers here? Oh, Aaron put one in here. I know that he had to. Where's Aaron? God, there's a lot of these. You guys are fucking killers. You guys are mean too. I dress like I sweep. This is from Aaron. I dress like I sweep the floors at American Chopper, but I wear my Lululemon thermal to hide the fact I'm too scared to get a tattoo. That's, if he wasn't already my business partner, and it wouldn't be a total waste of time, I would probably at least give him some sort of consolation prize for that one. That's pretty good. I don't have any tattoos, and I'm not too scared to get a tattoo. All right, you jerk. I've never found a design or something or a message or anything like that resonated in a way that made me want to put it on my body. I don't know why. I don't have like a thing against tattoos. I think they look fucking awesome. I just never like had the thing where it's like, that's, and literally that is the embodiment of do whatever right there. That is like, I have some lifelong things, but I find new things every 2 weeks. So, maybe I'm hesitant because of my short attention span at times to put something that I'm into. I should probably just put something about music though. Like if I really wanted to do that, I should probably, commit. Put that on me. But so yeah, the American Choppers thing. I definitely have a how do I put this? Like a California working class vibe in this picture, which is like 1000% the opposite of my personality or whatever vibe I actually have. That's not my vibe, 100%. But yeah, with the flannel and the thermal and the sort of flat brim hat and the black jeans, I can see it. Look like I sweep the floors at American Chopper. That's really good. So in private, he was making fun of my look later, the California working class look. And I told him that I've been trying to do the bald, bearded, tattooed guy look, like him and like everybody else in the Highland Games. But I just don't know if the world's ready for that look. He thinks I can't handle that look. I don't know. Maybe bald and beard is the next way to go. I mean, the bald will probably happen whether I want it to or not, right? I don't get an option. I don't get a say whether the bald thing is going to happen. But the beard, I do have a say in. The beard's staying strong. I'm pretty happy. And I like the gray in the beard. I hate the gray in the hair, but the gray in the beard is good. Makes me look, to use an SAT word here, wizened. Makes me look wizened. I'm going to go ahead and give the win here to a Wild Andrew Appears, though. He's going to get the prize. Just to think, a few short years ago, I used to be in a full body cast hustling illegal truffles. Now I have one of the most profitable raccoon jerky companies on the East Coast. I feel like he really knows what I'm about with that, and he knows exactly where to dig. So, a Wild Andrew Appears. Andrew Moore, dude, you are the winner. So, you are going to get a one-of-a-kind do whatever print. I'm going to get you a poster. It's going to have some do whatever based message on it. I'm going to keep that kind of a surprise, but I will hit you up on Instagram, man. If you want to hit me up on Instagram after you get this, go ahead and you can claim your prize. But dude, that was a ton of fun. There's literally no better way to spend your time on Instagram than to have other people make fun of your stupid face and your stupid outfit. I thought I looked good, by the way. I looked... As one might say, I looked dope. I feel like I looked pretty good, good enough to pose in front of those really nice neighborhood trash cans. We got nice trash cans in this neighborhood too. Oh, also, do any of you guys have like these next door apps or like a neighborhood Facebook page when you live in the suburbs? I find those to be the greatest source of entertainment of all time. I've lived in this neighborhood for 6 years now almost. And I've had to at times retire from commenting on them because I just not friction. It's just like it becomes like the topic of conversation. Like when I meet new people in the neighborhood or people that like live in the neighborhood and then I meet them for the first time, like, oh, you're the guy from the Facebook group. Oh man, blah, blah. And then that's what they talk about. And that feels so weird to me because I have to explain. So I'll backtrack. I recently, because of the trash can thing, I saw somebody post on the neighborhood Facebook page. I hadn't posted there in forever. I was retired, whatever, happily, just gone off to the mountains of the internet and lived in solitude or whatever. And there was somebody posted about complaining about people leaving their trash cans out the day after garbage day or 2 days after garbage day or whatever. And like, it was a problem on the street. And like, it's just like everything else. It read as such like a first world problem as like a, like I don't, like I just skimmed it. And if I'd have read closer, I would realize like he was probably being a little bit cheeky. I didn't really get it, but I just read it and I was like, oh, another one of these. Cause so many of them are like that. Like it's either like, I'm too scared to go, like the kind of stuff where like somebody will like, their neighbors will be noisy and they'll go to the internet and complain about it instead of just talking to the person. Or they'll have like a problem with somebody's tree or like the smoke from their grill and they'll literally tell everybody in the neighborhood, like they'll, with passive aggressive stuff. Like, I hope you're happy neighbors who cook at, 7 p.m. when I have guests over and smoke blows in our yard. Like just reach your stupid head over the fence and talk. God, it's one of the reasons that social media is ruining everything. Blah, blah, blah. That's a well-covered topic there. But yeah, I thought it was just another one of those, and I guess it sort of was. And so I just replied back. Like, I have a code on that thing and people that actually know me in person, just if I don't want to go full on like troll or full on just, posting out of left field stuff, like I just try to confuse people. I don't really argue anything on there. I just try to be confusing, and like that's all. But I'll just sometimes with stuff like that, I'll just post thanks for the update. And people that know me knows that means I've seen this and it's ridiculous. Like you updating the world on this, like, about somebody that ran a stop sign earlier today. Thanks for the update. Thanks. Thank you so much for getting that out for all of us. But I just say thanks for the update. That's it. And everybody that knows me knows that's a thing. So I put that. And then like 3 days later, I came back and I said, like, have there been any updates on this? Do we have any news about the trash cans? Just being a smartass, not even a funny smartass. Like, I'm out of practice, whatever. Like, not even a funny smartass. I didn't realize till after I did that this kid is the dad of one of my. This guy is the dad of one of the kids my son hangs out with. I've met this guy in person, so I'm trolling on his Facebook thing. Like, this is this like peak neighborhood drama here. All well and good. I figure I could, smooth it over, whatever. But I saw this dude at the gym. Like, I actually worked out, instead of in the garage gym, I worked out at the YMCA because they have kid care. And I'm doing dumbbell rows, and I do dumbbell rows heavy, so I grunt like an idiot, just for those of you lifters out there, like croc row style, like as heavy as you can, like put some body English on them, get after them. I love those things. Like they get the job done. They make you stronger. And I look up in between sets, and it's him. It's that kid's dad, the guy from Facebook, and he's doing curls like 2 feet from me. That's not an exaggeration. And so I'm in the middle of grunting just grunting like an animal, and and I have headphones on, and all, like, it's just not a friendly look. And I look up real quick, and I see, and I don't really like put it together first. I know I recognize his face. I'm like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And just like keep going. And then I realize, like, oh God, he knows who I am, and I know who he is now. So I had to smooth that over. Because here's the thing, like, and it's not really a smoothing over. It's really just like I have to have a human conversation. I don't know if anybody else is like this, but the me on social media, especially Facebook, is not really me. And I don't mean that in like I'm putting on some sort of fake, everything's cooler than it is sort of thing, but like, it's really, like, Instagram, I'm pretty honest, honestly, like, because that's just what I'm doing. But like, I don't use Facebook enough. So if I use Facebook for like a neighborhood page, or if I'm on Twitter or something like that, like those are playgrounds for me. I use those as playgrounds. Like that's, like I've been doing this internet thing for a long time, and yeah, I was on the Something Awful forums forever ago, for anybody that's nerdy enough to know that. Like, it's just like the internet is not real life, no matter how much it integrates. And for my generation of internet user, if you want to call it, it's never going to be real life. It's just not. So it's a playground. And whether I know you or not, like I'm going to see it as playful and something to entertain myself with. So I had to actually have a human connection with this guy. And we, of course, sorted it out because, adults having conversations in person normally sort stuff out. So yeah, that's another thing that I may start adding into this podcast is regular updates. Oh yeah, regular updates from mine or other people's neighborhood Facebook pages. I think that's going to become a segment. We need to write that down right now. Segment. See, I'm taking notes. Look at me all organized. Neighborhood Facebook pages. Nice. You guys are getting behind the proscenium here. You're seeing like you're seeing the workings. You're seeing the inner workings. I like that. So yeah, caption contest done. So I have mentioned before that I'm not like a real football fan anymore. Now I'm not. Loved it, now don't. Just don't follow. I followed a little bit of the playoffs this year, for probably the most I have in years. I watched my son's really into it right now, so I watched KC lose. My neighbor's a big KC fan, so I was, at least trying to show some solidarity there. And then I saw the horrible call against the Saints. That was real bad. Like, that was bad. That was like Mario Yamasaki bad. And then, yeah, we went over to our neighbor's house, the same KC fans. We went over to their house for the Super Bowl. It was awesome. Just, we had 3 families get together. Close neighbors right here. We just went over and brought some food and everything like that. So the game was fine. It was boring. I didn't watch that much. I can just, from decades of watching football, I can tell when a game is boring. I mean, it was a good defensive game, but that's not why people tune into the NFL anymore. They want to see scores. They want to see touchdowns. And, it was all right. But, I mean, Patriots won. I think that's all that ever happens anymore, right? Is it Patriots win? Yeah, sounds about right. Look, Brady's the best ever, correct? Like, can anybody... I understand lots of different perspectives, lots of different arguments for Montana, even for Marino. You can't really make a case that Brady's not the best ever, guys. 6 Super Bowl wins. Like, lots of amazing stats. Like, he did them all. And he wins a lot. And yes, he has a really, really good coach, but so did Joe Montana. He had Bill Walsh. So I can't see a case for him not being the best ever. I mean, is he annoying? Yeah. Is he a bit of a douche? Yeah. Is he a vegan that's not really vegan? Yeah. But he's the best quarterback ever. I don't have to like him for him to be that. That's fine. Spencer's the best Highland Games athlete ever, probably. I don't have to like him. No, I don't know. That's a bigger debate to me. Who's the best ever? I don't think Spencer would make a claim to best ever right now. I don't know if he can, and that's fair. Dan McKim has won a whole lot of championships. Going back to Highland Games, take that from wide appeal all the way down to the most narrow possible appeal there, Mike. Way to go. Talk about the Super Bowl, but then go back to the niche sport of all time. So, look, my highlight for the Super Bowl was I get to cook. Cooking is awesome. I'm a kept man, right? I'm a house husband. I'm a trophy husband, trophy dad. I get to cook, and I did something real special for Super Bowl Sunday. I made wings. Made hot wings, just straight up buffalo hot wings. But I made them with squirrel. That's right. So again, if you follow on Instagram, you saw I posted them. I made squirrel legs, but I made them with I double fried them, and I made my own buffalo sauce. I used to make the buffalo sauce. It's pretty simple. I used maple syrup, some distilled white vinegar, and some hot sauce and some butter. That's about it. You just melt those over low heat. Mix them up, put them in there. But I used hot sauce that was made by my buddy Chef Luke, actually, we talked about earlier, who's been on the podcast before. Chef Luke makes a homemade hot sauce that he'll distribute once in a while. And then sometimes I'll just stick in my pantry for like 3 years and forget about. But this time I remembered, and I used it for the buffalo wings. It was good. It was hot too. But I made squirrel wings and I took them to a suburban Super Bowl party. And that's like the most me thing that I can do right now. Because one, it gives me something to talk about that's about me. And that's the most me thing possible, really. Says the guy sitting in a room alone talking about himself. Obviously, that's a very me move. But it involves wild game, which I'm totally into. Game that I harvested. And it involves cooking. And it involves getting, like, challenging other people, I guess. Like challenging other people's perceptions of what they're doing. Like, and I'm not a confrontational, like, well, why don't you like it? It's just meat. Like, I'm not one of those kind of people. Like, I'm not. Like, if you like what you like, that's cool. If you want to try the stuff that I make, awesome, go for it. But the implicit underlying, like, challenge and cognitive dissonance going on is fun for me. Because I'm an asshole. I guess is that the right explanation? So I enjoy other people like struggling with something silently, and me not dealing with it, but them having to deal with it because I'm an asshole. That's the only finish to that sentence I can think of. I want other people to struggle with things that I made them struggle with. You can't finish that sentence with like, because I'm a philosopher. You can't finish that and anybody's going to believe you. It's because you're an asshole. So yeah, I can live with that. But yeah, you know what? It sounds like a big thing, but honestly, like I had the meat. I've been wanting to use it forever. So I thought it out along with some chicken legs. I made regular food. I made chicken legs too. And then we brought Ashley brought some kale chips and stuff like that. And, we brought vegetables, asparagus, bacon wrapped asparagus, all this kind of stuff. We enjoy getting after it when it's party cooking time. And, but I brought these as well. And I was primarily the one that ate them. One neighbor tried one. Shout out to neighbor Christy. She tried out. She surprisingly, of all the people that I thought were going to try it, I'm not going to lie, she was the one that I was the most surprised by. But she got in there and she had it kind of made the same assessment as I do about any time I try a new game meat. It's like, well, it's meat. Tastes like meat. They were a little tougher. And if I had to do the recipe again, I would probably do something like soak them in buttermilk, or I don't know. There's a lot of other things I could do, but that's kind of the go-to to get them a little tender. So some of them have been frozen for a little while, so they just had hardened up. But it was a little tougher than obviously like a fall apart buffalo wing. But I'll refine that a little bit. I'm out of squirrel now, so I'll have to harvest some more to do that. But big game season is over, so small game and hogs are underway, so I'll have to get out there and maybe harvest some more squirrel. So yeah, that was really fun though. The best part was we did this classic thing that every parent does to a kid when there's weird food. The neighbors have a 15-year-old, 14-year-old. They have a 14-year-old, and he's a huge kid, big kid. He's a ball player and like just growing incredibly fast. And he obviously he's eating everything in sight. He's just like teenage boys are just like garbage disposals. I was too. Like just is there food there? Then it is in me. That's it. So he walks down, he starts looking over the spread and everything. And I say, "You like hot wings?" He's like, "Yeah." And I said, "They're a little hot. Is that all right?" He said, "Oh yeah, I like hot." So that's also a big victory for his parents. They're having a suburban white kid that's into spicy because, my kids, not so much. The littlest one, maybe. But once she starts figuring out, they're like, "Oh, there's stuff I can eat that's just plain and boring," then she'll get on that train too. God, it's so hard. We have introduced our kids to so many like exotic, cool, interesting flavors and foods, but it's just a kid thing. Like, give me the plain stuff. Just give me the brown food that has no flavor to it. Give me plain pasta. But anyway, kudos to this kid's parents for getting him, somehow having him have a taste for spice. But yeah, he's into it. And then he grabbed one, and all the adults kind of just all shifted our eyes and looked at each other like, "Are we going to tell him? Are we going to tell him? Are we going to tell him?" And nobody decided to tell him. It was great. And obviously, I think his dad wanted to tell him the most, but he managed to, we all managed to squelch it. He managed as well. And we let the kid eat it. And there was like, if we'd have never said another word, he would have just been happy to and he cleaned it down to the bone. Like just, whew. And maybe he got one of the more tender ones. Or maybe he's just a 14-year-old savage that doesn't actually experience food. He just moves it to within his body to grow. That's about it. But I asked, did he like it? He said, yeah. And I said, "You know what it was?" And he looked at me for a second, and he looked around, and before anybody could say anything, the kid says, "Was it squirrel?" And yep, it sure was. So apparently my reputation precedes me a little bit, is that, what is that reputation then? I'm going to feed your kids tree rats? Yeah, all right. I've had a lot worse reputation than that. So that was a high point for the Super Bowl. Near the game, whatever. I can I can take it or leave it. But having a wild game exposure experience there, maybe one day that kid will become the world's greatest squirrel hunter. I don't know. His parents might want other things for him. Neighbors also had their house remodeled recently. And as suburban as that makes us, man, do we look with envious eyes upon their new hardwood floors and new kitchen. Oh, it looks so good. We remodeled our bathroom. We're in the process of remodeling our bathroom right now. When I say we, I mean Ashley had all these ideas and she's telling me what to do. Yeah, I'm way bigger on building new things than remodeling things, but I'm glad that Ashley likes to remodel and redo things because I would just keep stuff the same forever. And it needs to be updated. We have, we've got one of these classic suburban McMansion type houses or whatever that, like, it's big, but like all the fixtures are just builder grade and they come apart in your hands. I had this saga before we went on our last vacation where my son pulled off one of the bathroom faucet handle, like the bathtub faucet handle in his hand, and then it was just spraying water everywhere. So that was like the night before we had to leave in like a 4 a.m., 5 a.m. flight or something. And so it's just all these cheap builder grade fixtures and just blob paints and everything like that. No real personality to it. And so I'm glad that Ashley's got an eye for those things. So I'll just leave it. If it's got 4 walls and when it's summer, the air conditioning blows, that's absolutely killer for me. That's some form of paradise right there. 4 walls, Wi-Fi, and air conditioning. That tickles every need of my hominid brain. It's like I'm safe. I'm not hot or cold, and I'm entertained. I don't need to do anything. I mean, obviously I choose to do a lot of other things, but that makes it easy to not do those. But yeah, she keeps looking nice in her. But I like building new stuff. I like, I'm building a deck. I build a stand I built her a new garden bed and injured my wrist doing it, by the way. So elite athlete there, real high level strength. injured it with a cordless drill, and then I built it. I'm building a base for my 3D archery target. I'm going to build a backdrop for it. I just like building new stuff. I like making new things, but using that same attitude to fix things up inside is nice. So the first thing that goes into the bathroom remodel is painting. Ashley has painted a lot of rooms and on her own and with my help in this house. The one I'm sitting in the studio right now, we painted it. I think she did most of the painting. Usually I just end up getting the stuff that has to be done up high because tall. There are ladders though. Maybe that's her scam. Oh, she's just complimenting my height and saying I have to do it, but she could just get on a ladder. Yeah, I respect the game. So she wanted to paint the bathroom first. Before doing anything else, paint the cabinets. And she did all the cabinets and then paint the walls. There's a theme though that I've noticed. And I don't feel like this is just my wife. I feel like this may be women everywhere when they take on painting projects and stuff. I briefly, when I was younger, my dad was in construction, and he worked his way up to like a VP of construction or whatever. But like I worked a ton of construction jobs when I was younger, summer jobs and stuff like that. And one of them, a couple times, I would work with painting crews in interior and exterior. So you get an idea of at the fastest and most efficient you can do it, how, what a paint job is going to take you, especially exterior. Exterior can be painstaking, believe it or not, because interior, like especially when it's new construction, there's nothing to really worry about. Like there's no furniture, there's no fixtures, there's no doors, there's not even trim sometimes. You're spraying it down. But when you're doing like a remodel or a rehab, yes, it gets really arduous then. But yeah, exterior can be a lot. But you get an idea of what it takes. And I think reliably that my wife, and I'm just going to generalize to any woman remodeling probably, because I've seen it in other cases, that they don't estimate the amount of time it's going to take to paint a room. Like, we'll just go in there on Friday and we'll paint it. It's never like that. It's never like that. There's so much shit to paint around, and there's so many corners, and you may estimate your paint wrong because you're not a professional. Like, it always takes 3 days to actually paint a room where somebody's living, because there's furniture, there's all this stuff, but it'll take a day. And I continue to buy it. I continue to be like, yeah, that seems easy. I'll go in and do that. Now, I'm not bitching. I let her do the majority of the work. I painted the upper half of the room basically, but it's just that seeing that I get mad at myself that I also buy the idea that it's just putting paint on walls. We're not even painting there's countertops, there's stuff taking up space. I'll blow through this. And then you end up 2 days later, your shoulders are burned to complete exhaustion. Your already shitty wrist is killing you. You're covered in paint. I'm not covered in, my clothes aren't covered in paint, by the way, because I paint in my underwear. That's right. So everybody has painting clothes that they put on. Ashley's got this old pair of pants that's just splattered with paint since forever, and an old t-shirt or whatever. I don't get down with that. For some reason, I have some sort, I'm not a neatnik. I'm not a overly person I'm not a hand sanitizer on everything person. Everything's got to be clean and neat. I'm not that, but for some reason, I hate getting paint and ink and stains on clothes. Even if they're meant for it, I despise it. It annoys me so much for some reason to get paint on clothes. So I paint in my underwear. Yeah. And I actually did get paint on my underwear, and I lost that pair of underwear, and I'm annoyed by that. But I can't paint in the nude because apparently that's frowned upon. It's my house. Yeah, so I paint my underwear. I have to answer the questions of each one of my kids, why are you wearing your underwear? I have to explain. In short, your dad's a crazy person is the reason why. So yeah, I paint my underwear. So, lady listeners, you're welcome for that visual. Yeah, but the thing that I also noticed after getting paint on me is that the paint that's on me and on the brush looks completely different than the color that goes on the wall. How is this not figured out? Every time we paint, we buy oh, this is going to be a cool, an ice gray, or this is going to be a purple, or this is going to be whatever we're going to get. This is going to be straight up white, or we put it on the wall, it's blue. Just put it on the wall and it's blue every time. No matter what we do, unless we're doing pink, whenever it's any kind of neutral, cool colors, that's blue, just turned out blue. It's on the ass cheek of my underwear and it looks white. But when it's on the wall 2 inches from my ass cheek, it looks blue. Is it just totally subjective? There wasn't a blue underneath it. It was just a neutral color underneath. Is the sunshine coming in and changing the color? And if that's the case, what's the point of paint color? Why is there... God, this is the most boring thing to get upset about. But why is paint color subjective? Why do they have to be colored? Why can't we just paint everything white? Because it would be blue. I just answered my own question about that. I go back to Aaron, my best friend and business partner. So he's redoing all the floors in his house. Is this going to become a remodeling blog? Ugh. Is it going to be a remodeling podcast? It wouldn't be that bad. He's redoing all of his floors in his house. He's got a house that was built in the late 70s, I think. And he's doing all new wood floors in his house. And he's been pretty faithfully Instagramming it. He's been making it his Instagram story and talking about progress. He and I talk a lot, just in, private text and everything about the process and him getting through. And I'm planning to do some wood floors as well. You can imagine why. Since he's putting this on Instagram in his Instagram story, everyone's wife is watching it. You hear that, Aaron? Everyone's wife is watching you do floors on your weekends and in your spare time. You asshole. Everyone's wife is watching. It's her favorite TV show now. She pays more attention to that than anything that I say or anything that I post or anything that's her favorite form of entertainment, is watching you do floors and imagining the transformation in our house. So big surprise, I'm going to do wood floors in the front room of our house. I got out in front of it. I could see it coming. I was like, I could do this. I'll do these, because I knew that Aaron's stupid Instagram story was going to inspire it. It's already happened to one of our other friends, Paul, who we group text with. He's already getting sucked in because his wife was watching Aaron's Instagram story, and she saw a middle-aged dude with a beard putting in floors, and it just takes no time to put two and two together. You asshole. So he's just chugging away, spending his spare time doing that, and making these beautiful transformations. And I have to be cool about it. I'm so proud of you, Aaron. So proud of you for committing yourself to that. Oh, that's awesome. And when me and the wife watch, yeah, that looks really good. Oh, I didn't think about it that way. But in the back of my mind, you asshole. You know what this is, dude? You know what? This is the equivalent of if some dude's wife, if I was watching some dude's wife that I know, and every day she posted an Instagram story of her doing a daily striptease for her husband, a daily sexy striptease, or with a new outfit, or a daily with a daily sexy striptease with 2 plates full of hamburgers every day for a week on an Instagram story. And she talks about the different process. I picked lingerie from Frederick's this time. Is that even still a thing? That's the equivalent of this, is showing the process of how she dances like a stripper with plates full of hamburgers for her husband. That's what you're doing, dude. That's what you're doing to us out there. That's what watching a dude that you're married to change the floors in your house is like for wives. That's what watching you change floors is like. It's like watching a chick do a striptease with plates full of juicy homemade hamburgers. So, you asshole. Wives just dig that, man. It's as old. It's a joke as old as the hills. Joke as old as the hills. But if you really want to up the romance quotient in your life, just clean something up or fix something. All of a sudden, your wife will find you much more attractive. And when you get to be my age, with the face things that I have going on, getting middle-aged and graying and everything's getting saggier, no surprise that I'm trying to get more handy now. That's the last card I have left to play, is that I can reach the ceiling with the paint roller, I can build stuff with wood, and I know the names of tools. And now I have to do floors. That's the next step. So congratulations, Aaron. You're the sexiest man alive. Over 36. That's married with children. In a home that needs floors. In that category, sexiest man alive. Moms are into that kind of, like, you know what else moms also, this is something that's, I've decided is going to become a segment. The home improvement thing is one part of this, is the mom thing. But there's an entire culture out there, guys, and gals, about, what is this, 1935? That is this whole idea of like the sacredness of the homemaker or like the home unit or anything like that. This whole idea. And this is something I've decided to make a regular part of Do Whatever, because I myself am a trophy dad. I'm a trophy husband, a kept stay-at-home type person, even though I do work, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, primarily, like, it's just better for the sake of the joke if I'm a stay-at-home dad. Let's just do that. So, mom blogs are the thing that I want to visit very regularly. Luke and I talked about this a couple episodes back. Chef Luke and I talked about this, that there is like this weird, wild, out of control culture of mom blogs out there, mom Instagram stars, and people that are doing the same kind of things that I see in the fitness industry, where you present an image, a culture that you're in, you find a niche in that, and then you find products and people that will give you free stuff or sponsor you to talk about that stuff and integrate that into your whole message. Like, it becomes like a little cottage industry, it becomes like a side hustle, becomes a job. Like, and sometimes I'm totally into that. Like my friend Matt, you know, from Hate Brand Goods, like, he is the master of, like, he only will advocate for stuff that he believes in and he actually uses. Pretty cool. And the way he never compromises himself, he never misleads anybody. I dig that. But there are plenty of mom blogs out there that probably do the same. And in fact, I know they do. I know some of those people personally. But there is a whole super weird culture of incredibly crazy moms out there that are spouting some absolute craziness. So this has got to become a regular thing. I'm sorry, I live in this world. I am a parent. I'm a dad. I'm primarily a stay-at-home, I guess. Again, for the sake of this, it's easier to say I'm a stay-at-home. And look, I'm at home right now doing my thing. So yeah, stay at home. These blogs are, how do I put this? They're like distilled insanity, because you don't get, like, when you talk to somebody that's got crazy ideas, oftentimes there's like a filter in normal everyday life where other conversation comes in and they kind of control themselves on like how much crazy they're going to let out, because they see reactions from people and they understand, like, oh yeah, this is not the thing I should be talking about. Like, whatever I'm doing with crystals this week, I should not probably talk about in person. If you work with crystals out there, sorry, but that's crazy. But when you get a blog, that's just you talking to the world, just like social media in general. But blog is like long form you talking to the world. And it's weird because blogs really aren't that big of a thing in a lot of places anymore. Like, long form reading is not that much in fashion. But man, some of these, like, these are like, these mom blogs are a lot of the places where you end up getting, like, you know, when you look for a recipe online and you try to find the recipe, but you have to go through like 3 pages of life story around the recipe and history. Those are mom blogs a lot of times. Click around on that page away from recipes and see what kind of insanity you can find. That's how I got here. But that's the long form stuff you're getting. The one that I found that I looked at most recently, it's called the Fresh Mommy blog. They have a whole section on, wait for it, essential oils. The essential oils. Essential oils are something that I have a real soft spot for, in terms of a real tender spot in terms of what I feel like is bullshit. Yeah. Because it is close to home. There's I'm sitting smack dab a lot of times in the middle of the demographic that buys into it. But like these, so essential oils, people that push them, mom blogs, mom lifestyle, parenting lifestyle pages, all this kind of stuff. What they are doing is they're doing the oldest marketing tactic in the book, man. They're playing on insecurity. They're playing on people's insecurity. Stay-at-home moms primarily. I'm not trying to generalize, but primarily that's the target market here. They're mom blogs, for God's sake. They say fresh mommy. It's not fresh parent blog. But they're playing on this weird insecurity that's happened culturally. This idea that you're not doing enough. Because that's what's at the core of it. You're not doing enough. And it gets disguised and wrapped up in a nice sheen of positivity and being pro-health and pro-child and being, all that. Like trying a sheen of positivity it gets wrapped up in. And that it's, a positive message. It's it's inspirational, or that it's, it's something people can relate on. Like it. And again, I get the idea of being able to relate on something, but the wrapping up that you're not doing enough message and wrapping it up in a combination of positivity, or the idea of positivity, and then selling products alongside that is real wicked to me. And essential oil is that. It's just that. Like, it's also this idea. This chair got really creaky all of a sudden. I gained a little bit of weight the past couple of weeks. I wanted to eat my way back up to 200 and over because there's certain numbers I don't like seeing on the scale. I like being a little bigger. Sorry, podcast chair. But there's this idea, and I see it take hold of people, and I hate it. And Ashley is an incredibly accomplished woman, intelligent woman, compassionate, loving, positive woman. And I can see there are moments where this almost hooks her, this idea that, and it doesn't, because she is all those things. And she's also, she's a scientist, in her profession, she has to think evidence-based. She doesn't get hooked. But this idea that motherhood needs to somehow be a profession. Motherhood is a job. Fatherhood is a job. I'll be the first one to tell you that, right? It's work. It's not even a job. It's work. It is your responsibility. It's your duty. But it's not... Parenthood is not a profession. It's not something where you have to develop a unique expertise and set of skills based on deep research or deep practice. It's not that. Parenthood is not a profession. I'm sorry, it's not. Being a nanny is a profession because you have to do it with a certain amount of professional separation. Being a babysitter, working at a daycare, those are professions. Those are jobs. Let's go with jobs instead of profession. But motherhood, parenthood, fatherhood, all those things are not on par with something like nuclear physicist. They're not. It's a basic human drive to parent and to love and to care and to provide for. Those are basic human drives, and that's a basic human duty that when you have a child, you take care of it. But there's what these blogs, these lifestyle posters, man, this is getting super serious, they're playing on is that insecurity that you need to be an expert at being a mom, and you need to have tricks and tactics and preventative things and curative things that people that aren't moms aren't going to get. And it's just not true. At a baseline, you need to love your children, keep them safe. That's it. Now, everything else you do from there is just making you and them more awesome. But as a baseline, love your children, keep them safe. There's a lot of choices after that can send kids a lot of different ways, but there's your baseline. That's what you need to do. That's the bare minimum. Love your children, keep them safe. Now, you go up the hierarchy, you need to teach them. Sure. But as a society, we also have schools, which are awesome. We've decided that communally teaching our kids is beneficial. We give them social teaching and we give them true education. So you need to teach them. You need to keep them healthy. And obviously your food choices, your choices in how safe your house is or the activities you let them be involved in are a big part of that. Can't overdo it. You can't overprotect them. You can't let their immune systems just be completely untested forever, because there's evidence talking about this, guys. Stop using hand sanitizer so much. And then you have to let them test themselves physically and sometimes get hurt by the world. Have you ever watched a 2-year-old walk or run? They fall over all the time. But the good thing is they're real close to the ground and their bones are real squishy and the rest of them's real squishy. Most times they don't get hurt real bad. But they got to test themselves against the world. But you got to keep them, you have to have an acceptable level of safe. And that's going to change from family to family, circumstance to circumstance. Look, my kids can wander away from the house and no jaguar is going to grab them and take them up into a tree. I got that going for me. There might be some squirrels out there that are going to exact revenge on me. I don't know. But I have that going for me. Other families don't have that going for them, so they might have to be a little more strict on that. But essential oils, man. Essential oils are, if you don't know, essential oils are basically, they're concentrated plant aromas or plant matter that's suspended in oil. They're oils that smell nice. I can't with 100% certainty tell you much else. And not my certainty, the certainty of the body of research around them. Now, because this is such a hot topic and because it's a thing that's being rubbed on and put inside kids, yeah, there's going to be more research soon, probably coming. Guess what it's going to say? It's not going to, there's not going to be anything that comes out that says like, oh, wow, turns out essential oils can prevent cancer. No, it's not going to happen. Because if they could, would have been figured out already. Medical science school like that. When there's just something that's that simple, yeah, cool. It's usually been found already. Not always, obviously, but usually has been found already. Essential oils to me are like this, they're this embodiment. Let's read. Honestly, let's just read before listening to me philosophize too much. Let's read from Fresh Mommy blog. I started my journey with essential oils over 8 years ago and have been a fan of their natural healing and health capabilities ever since. Yeah, okay. Natural healing and health capabilities. It's plant stuff suspended in oil. I want you to remember that the entire time. They were a beautiful necessity throughout my pregnancies. Necessity. Beautiful necessity throughout my pregnancies and deliveries. I wonder how that would play with somebody in, I don't know, Somalia that gave birth to a child and what they listed as their necessities. And what somebody, I don't know, in the Sudan in the past 5-10 years that gave birth. Do you think essential oil is going to make the list? Or maybe just a single doctor that I can access? It's also perfect for those baby rub-downs and overall health, especially when we lived in a cold climate. It seemed like cold and flus, here we go, were more commonly passed around in those chilled winter months. So there's the first implication, right? You got to deconstruct these sentences, man. Every mom is insecure about cold and flus and their kids getting viruses. Nobody likes having sick kids. Nobody enjoys it. Even if you're smart enough to know that, yeah, they need to get some colds, they need to get exposed to them. You don't like it. You don't want to do it. And there's a nugget inside of you that if your child gets sick, that you did something wrong by not preventing it. And I hate that idea because you didn't. It happened. But you using essential oils is not going to do anything to help that. You know what will help with the flu? Getting the flu shot. They put it right there in the name. Flu vaccine. Nobody, when I go to the clinic to get my kids vaccinated, ever mention anything about lavender. To be fair, maybe lavender is not the anti-flu oil. Maybe I need to be looking into that a little bit more. Here's some craziness too. While I'm all about exploring trends, my re-entry into the essential oil life has less to do with being on trend and really began upon learning that the miscarriages I'd experienced most likely had to do with my own hormones and how it took too long for them to stabilize after a pregnancy. Whoa. Meaning there was a slight possibility that they could have been avoided. So you see it? You see the seed of doubt, of questioning self-worth in there, of you're not doing enough. You see that? How insidious that is? She, look, credit to her. She boldly puts out her own bad experience out there. Miscarriages are common. Yeah, they are. They're common. They happen. Obviously, a lot of people have very happy first pregnancies and they never have a miscarriage, and it happens. But it is a common thing that happens. So that there are people reading this that have that issue. And that idea of somehow you could have prevented it. That's so dangerous. That's so dangerous. And I guarantee you this lady wasn't, she wasn't chugging booze and doing meth. Because, yeah, that'll hurt your chances a little bit. Man, I'm going to keep going. Meaning there's a slight possibility that they could have been avoided. Just typing those words bring tears to my eyes. Again, my choice now is to do something about it. My choice now is to balance hormones and enable my body with the nutrients and minerals it needs to function properly. Those things should be done with diet. To find natural, holistic alternatives that are not only safe, but effective. Same thing applies to minor burns, scrapes, muscle soreness, and aches. No, it does not. Immune support, congestion, and they're virtually in this list. Okay. So, essential oils as medicine. Either you inhale them or you put them on your skin. Is the idea. So here's where my issue is with this. Just now, I think I've already made it clear to have an issue. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think that for these complex medical issues, that you can buy some oils from the company she lists later in the page, by the way, the particular brand that she likes. I'm not going to say them because fuck them. But she is making an implication that these complex medical issues or traumas like burns and scrapes can be cared for by the application of oils with plant extract in them. Here's the deal. Plants can be medicine. 1,000,000%, yes, they can be medicine. That's what modern pharmaceuticals are based on. A lot of pharmaceuticals are derived from plants. Yeah. So it's kind of like we found effective plants for a lot of these things, and we have turned them into easily deliverable, mass-producible medicines that have evidence-based, that have uses and applications that are evidence-based and are backed by research. So yes, maybe ginger, maybe ginger does have some sort of effect, or maybe there are plants out there that do have certain effects and we can get things from. Science is way ahead of you on this, Fresh Mommy blog. They have been turning plants into medicine. That's what we do with them. Now, does everything need to be medicated? No. Scrapes, muscle soreness? No. Aches? Meh. Maybe live better. A lot of what you eat and how you move can fix a lot of it. Hey, what do you know? Recent research shows that for depression, being on an exercise schedule and being outside is more effective than SSRIs or MAO inhibitors. MAO inhibitors. So yes, lifestyle, food, hydration, those can all, activity level, those can have a lot of effect. Oils don't. They don't. So she goes into a whole thing here about that whole idea. About, the first prescription ever was for frankincense oil. Yeah, that's when people didn't know anything about medicine and they hadn't created real medicine yet. Sure, one time I put frankincense oil on a kid and he felt better. Yeah, just like the best, what the cure for a cold is? Wait 3 days. There is no cure, it's a virus. But if you do something on day 2 that you think is great, or it's your favorite oil or the oil you're selling, or the magic stone or the crystal you're selling or the chant or the rite that your priest does or whatever, then the next day the kid gets better and it's like, oh man, that was a miracle, that worked. No, you just waited and then it got better. Or you rubbed some oil on something and you spoke sweetly to a kid and the placebo effect made the pain or discomfort a lot less. How do you not know this? Oh God, so much for being entertaining and fun. I'm just getting mad now. That's all it's doing. It's just making me mad. There's also, there's one thing in here that's fantastic. And of course, I had it bookmarked and highlighted because so smart. So smart. Yeah, here we go. These products and information, she writes this, disclaimer, these products and information are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Anyone suffering from disease or injury should consult with a physician. That's so chicken shit. That's so chicken shit. You spent the entire thing, and pages upon pages and hours upon hours of podcasting is spent on this idea that these things are going to help and cure. But that's so chicken shit right at the end to say like, oh, disclaimer, they don't actually work. I'm not claiming they actually work. You got to go to a doctor. And she says that there's a legality. Like for legality reasons, I can't say these are going to cure any issues. Yeah, legality being that if you recommend it and then somebody dies because they didn't treat a serious issue, yeah, maybe you're liable for it. All of a sudden, when you put the idea that you could be sued off your ass for something, all of a sudden it's a lot easier to be chicken shit with a disclaimer, huh? Weird how that works. It's almost like doctors work in that same environment. That if they do something that's total quackery or make it up, or think that something's maybe cool and going to work, and then someone dies or has a bad outcome, they could be sued for it. Oh yeah. So now you're walking into that. So you want to be stay-at-home doctor? You want to do that? Okay. Lawyer up. I don't know if they're going to issue malpractice insurance to you for your mom blog, but that's the environment physicians work in all the time. And in America, it's one of the worst. One of the most highly litigious country in the world. So they have to constantly be practicing medicine with the idea that they're going to get hit with a malpractice suit if anything goes wrong, whether it's their fault or not. So, do they prescribe essential oils? No. Do they use crystals? No. Do they use medications and interventions that are evidence-based? Yeah. Because that makes it a lot easier to practice medicine without being sued. So take your disclaimer off. It's chicken shit. Go out there. If you believe in it, take the disclaimer off. Eat the lawsuit. Do that. But then you might not get that sweet $150 a month from your essential oils company and the free starter pack. Yeah. Man, I got really into that. But I'm going to keep going with the crazy mommy blogs once in a while. That and the neighborhood Facebook pages. Those are gold mines right there. I'm going to stick with those. Because it's such a privilege that people like me and my socioeconomic status, whatever you want to call it, people in my world can start thinking of all these things that they can do better than everybody else. By the way, this line of thinking is where anti-vax people come from. This is it. I know better. No, you don't. Admit that there are experts in the world. Admit that there are people way better than you in everything. Like I can't think of one thing I would tell anybody that I know the most about or that I know better than an expert in. There's not. And if you're the expert, you know what you most likely if you're the preeminent expert in your field, you know what you're smart enough to realize? Somebody probably knows some stuff I don't. Weird, right? It's almost like that's how you keep learning things. But once you think you know better, you're dumb. Once you think you know better, that means that you know less than. Sorry. That's the plain truth. You've sealed yourself inside of a box once you say that you know better. You don't. Listen. Try listening, and then you'll have things shown to you and proven right. And then you get some things like incontrovertible evidence that things are right. Not even incontrovertible, just extremely compelling. How's that? The science of using ibuprofen for pain instead of plant oil is overwhelming. Very convincing. I'll say that. Not incontrovertible. Somebody could prove it wrong at some point. That's the beauty of science. But I'm going to stick with the ibuprofen. Speaking of which, I need some ibuprofen. My wrist is killing me. God, do I need a better cordless drill or just a better body? Is there a way can I do a double-blind study on that? Whether my tool is the problem or my weak, old wrists are the problem? I don't know. I'll figure it out. All right. Studio's coming together. We're going to have video soon. I know you guys miss seeing my face. Nobody misses seeing this face, by the way, at this point. But I miss sharing my multiple eyebrow raises with you. I miss doing that. So be back soon with another episode. Throwbros.com, sponsor as always. You guys take care of yourself, and I'll be back with a new episode. I want to talk about, I want to try to find a musician to get on here. Somebody recommend me a musician to talk about. Luke and I delved into it briefly, but I want to talk about music. I really want to talk about music as a career, music as a job. It's always fascinating to me. Somebody find me somebody like that. All right. Take it easy.